Browns running back who had been asking for a trade for some time, Duke Johnson, was finally traded to the Houston Texans for, from what it sounds like, a fourth rounder that could end up being a third rounder based on his performance. So, big move in the NFL. Huge. It's huge for Nick Chubb because it sounds more and more like these guys are committed to Chubb. Kareem Hunt's there. They know he's there, so they're like, you know what? We don't need Duke for the first. So here's the thing. Everybody, I want to bring this up because everybody thinks Kareem Hunt is suspended for the first 8 games. He is, but that doesn't mean the first 8 weeks. So they have a bye week inside of that already. So what's going to happen is when Kareem Hunt comes back, it's going to be week 10 in the NFL. So it's really like not having him for 9 weeks, and you're going to get him on that 10th week. So it's some time, but it seems like the Cleveland Browns are committed to both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as their backfield and decided to capitalize on Duke Johnson's talent. So that should help fantasy owners capitalize on Nick Chubb's talent alone for those first 9 weeks in fantasy football. So I'm really excited because of that, and I think it's something that a lot of fantasy owners should be very excited about as well. Nick Chubb has moved up in my rankings based solely off of that, and then also on top of it all, just watching him in that first week of preseason games. I mean, how they used him in that first opening drive, unbelievable. That was just lightning. Baker Mayfield was commanding the field. Nick Chubb was using the running game when the defense was just completely confused, taking it 12 yards, taking it 14 yards off a reception. They used him in that passing game. That's the biggest thing. Nick Chubb's going to be a really big benefactor off of this. So, Brian, I think the bigger question here for fantasy owners is what happens to Lamar Miller? And I already know, but I'd like your take on it because you're kind of, I wouldn't call you a Lamar Miller truther, but you've always kind of stood by him in fantasy football terms because he's old faithful, quote unquote.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, when they let go of Deonta Foreman, I knew right away that they're committed to Lamar Miller. Not only that, but the team has verbally said Lamar Miller is the guy. And so this doesn't sway me one bit. As a matter of fact, I look at Duke Johnson as Lamar Miller insurance. He's going to get worked in. He'll have some role in the offense, but he's got to learn the playbook. They're in the middle of training camp right now. It's going to take him a while to kind of learn that. So I think he'll be a spot play for the team here and there, but Lamar Miller is going to be the guy. And then obviously I always advocate, and I know you do too, Chad, follow the money. So, I mean, here's the deal. Mm-hmm. Duke Johnson the team's going to pay him $2.2 million this year. He gets a $400,000 roster bonus and $1.8 million salary. Compare that to Lamar Miller, who has a $5.5 million salary, $1 million signing bonus, and a $700,000 roster bonus. He is a $7.2 million player to the team. They're not going to sit a guy that's making $7.2 million, that's 28 years old, in a contract year and over a guy like Duke Johnson. Now, Duke Johnson, he could be the future. He could be the guy next year, and that very well may be why they drafted him, to see if he is. So, but I don't see Lamar Miller going anywhere, and I think he is going to be a safe bet, and I like him as a deep value. I think he can be a steal in a lot of drafts.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. I do think that Duke Johnson is a value as well. He doesn't quite move into my top 100 because of this move, but I think he's just outside of it now. Because I do, however, think that Duke Johnson is going to be a relatively good third down back for that team. He'd come out there in shotgun formations, Deshaun Watson with his legs, confusing defenses, and he can dump it off to Duke Johnson, who's really versatile. Duke Johnson is like a modern-day Darren Sproles. And Darren Sproles and Duke Johnson have both been